Michelle Ruiz said, and I quote, "If people are doubting how far you can go, go so far that you can't hear them."
Extending our warmest greetings to the people tuning in. We are so excited to introduce you all to our guest for the day, Miss Anoushka Jolly. This 13-year-old entrepreneur is the founder and CEO of Inner Art Private Limited, Anti-Bullying Squad, and Kavach. She's an 8th grade student at Pathway School, Gurgaon, who recently appeared on Shark Tank India and pitched her bullying reporting app, Kavach.
She started her first mental health startup in 2018 by the name of Anti-Bullying Squad. Post that, she attended the Young Entrepreneurs Academy and managed to secure third place in the investor panel whilst being the youngest pitcher. She has been invited by the Ministry of Culture on behalf of the Government of India to be a part of the song Mauka Hai. She has been featured in numerous offline and online publications for her work, namely The Times of India, Economic Times, NDTV Business Standard, and Your Stories. She's a Network 18 Young Genius, and her venture was recognized as one of the top 21 for 2021 innovative tech based women led startups by ITC and She Capital.
So, Anushka, I'm sure our listeners are curious to know what made you commence with this venture and how did you come up with this idea?
What inspired me to start the enterprise, which was actually an incident in which I witnessed a 6-year-old girl get bullied, and I guess I could say that this incident it changed my life entirely, and it gave me a sense of purpose. It's when I decided to embark on this anti-bullying mission. So when she got bullied, I stood up for her. I talked to the bullies, tried to make them see the repercussions of their actions, even though maybe at the time, because we were so young, it was difficult for them to understand, and I was confused as to like how do I talk to them. But I think I definitely sheltered that girl and saved her from a lot of bullying and humiliation, which would have impacted her negatively. So after this incident, I thought about bullying. I researched about it. I found out more about it, and all these facts, all this research I was doing, I think that's when I really realized that this is such a huge problem. It's affecting kids in India and across the globe. And I really, really wanted to do something about it. So at the time, I used to watch Shark Tank USA with my dad, and I would see people solving problems, daily problems, so innovatively through uh, their ideas, their business ideas. And I decided that even I wanted to do that and take forward my drive for anti bullying in an entrepreneurial manner. So I started talking to my mentors, I started researching on bullying, planning out my business model, and ultimately, I think in August 2018, around my birthday, I came up with Anti Bullying Squad. I launched the website and I began my journey.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So, where do you see yourself in your app in the next 5 years? Like, if you have a very vague idea about it.
I think for me, I want to be obviously working in mental health and bullying. I want to be impacting like way more kids around the world. I want to kind of deliver my anti-bullying message to not only all the kids in India but all the kids around the globe. It's a little ambitious, but I think with the right like mentorship and the right drive, I can really do it. And for my app, I want to I want my app to be able to be implemented in 1,000 schools in 5 years.
That's nice. So, also like being a young woman in the field of STEM, how do you juggle between your school and work life?
So I think the key to juggling between school life and work life is definitely time management. I myself follow a strict timetable from Monday to Friday where I manage to finish all my homework and additionally all the meetings and the interviews and everything that comes with managing a business. And I'm not going to say that like I'm perfect at it because obviously it's something that takes practice. It's something that again takes time, but I'm working on it and I think I'm getting better at it very slowly.
Okay.
And you're doing great at what you're doing. So have you ever struggled with work-life balance, and as in like you're meeting, not able to meet your deadlines and not having time for your loved ones and friends and everything?
Yes, I definitely have. Like I said before, like I'm not perfect. I'm once again I'm just learning and I'm making mistakes. And like there have been times where I've worked too much and then I barely get any time for my friends and they feel kind of left out, as if they're being ignored and things like that. But I think I have I have realized ultimately that, you know, it's just something that will take time. It's something that once I keep doing, I will keep getting better at it, and that I don't have to stress out about things like these. Because like, I mean, I'm working towards mental health myself, so I have to make sure my mental health is okay firstly before, you know, work and school and all of that.
Doing what you're doing, which is obviously a very big thing. So I want to know, like, did you always have this urge inside of you to make change in the society, or was it just that one incident that triggered it?
uh I guess I did. I've always thought that, you know, I've been blessed with such a great family, with home, with skill. So I must use it to like help other people do what they do. But I didn't know where I could do that until that incident happened. Until that incident happened and I realized that, oh, I want to help people like with anti-bullying. So I think that definitely triggered it, as you said.
Okay, so like, what should a person do after they're bullied? I mean, what should their first instinct be?
So basically, there are a few. There's a proper procedure that you need to follow if you're getting bullied. First of all, you need to know what's happening. You need to identify things in the bullying situation, like whether it's actually bullying or not, what form of bullying it is, who is bullying you, are there any bystanders, things like this, and even take like evidence or screenshots if it's cyberbullying and if you can. Secondly, it's very important to kind of come to terms with the bullying because it can affect you negatively, can affect your mental health and take a toll on you as a person. So usually when people get bullied, they tend to bury their feelings and not talk about them. But even though that does feel easier at the time, hiding your feelings will just make the situation worse. And it is scientifically proven that talking about your feelings help. So talking about them to a friend or your family, or maybe something, doing something that makes you happy, something expressive, that is definitely recommended. And it's also very important to stay calm and not let the bullies get to you because their ultimate goal is to make you feel bad. And if you don't let them do that, they won't be able to affect you or bully you in any sort of way. But
Yeah.
lastly, you need to take action and stop the bullying, obviously. And that's by only one thing, which is reporting on my app, if you may, a teacher, a counselor, a parent, anybody who you trust, you can report.
Yeah. So, can you give a small piece of advice for people who are not able to combat it, who are not able to even confide in other people?
When I went through bullying, which was in like third grade, I was a very happy go lucky child. But after those incidents, I became more sad and upset. And it definitely took a toll on me and my self esteem. And I believe the worst mistake that I made is that I waited really, really long before speaking out to somebody about it. So by that time, I'd already been affected by it. So I think whenever the bullying starts, as quick as it starts, don't wait till it blows out of proportion. You need to talk to somebody and report it ASAP on the Kavach app or anyone you trust, really. You need to talk about it instead of suppressing your feelings and avoiding the situation or running away from it because that does not work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very bad for someone to go through bullying, and I completely agree with you that you should report it. However, I think we need to spread more awareness about it until people actually report it. So now that you're working on bullying and you're helping people combat it, how does it make you feel when you see others getting out of depression that they had because of bullying? through your app? Like, how do you feel?
No, I feel it's just kind of a shock to me that this is even happening, because helping people has been my dream for as long as I can imagine. I feel happy. I feel it really warms my heart that I've been able to create such a large impact. And every time like I hear a story, somebody tells me that you've helped me, you've inspired me. Like it's just kind of the little spark of motivation just kind of lights in me, and I feel even
Yeah.
motivated to work harder for people and children all around the world.
So do you like get to know their experiences, or do people approach you? Like, how does that happen?
So usually I used to go to schools and I used to like talk to them, and that's when they started coming out with their experiences. They started telling me that, oh, this happened to me as well, whatever you're talking about. I got bullied. And now since I don't really continue with those session taking, they reach out to me, using Instagram, using social media handles. They DM me, and you can see a lot of my DMs are just filled with like stories. Mostly people just not even asking for help when they just need somebody to talk to. So a lot of requests and messages are full of that.
Okay. So like how did you manage to convince the schools and colleges like to for your app? Like how did they be a part of your app? How did like why will they allow someone
To
like a very young person to
Well, I think it's the moral responsibility and legal responsibility of a school to take care of its students, to take care of the students' mental health and make sure there is no misconduct or bullying taking place. And usually schools, they don't really know how to go about that, because I mean, most schools that I've seen at least, they just sort of hang a few anti-bullying posters here and there, call it a day, and think that will be all right. But we know that that doesn't work because there is still bullying happening in their school. And so, and there's literally no way that uh, students can connect with teachers anonymously, because like if the bullying is happening, you have to go and talk to the teacher about it. And there's no way for the school to know the patterns and trends of bullying in their school so they can take like preventive measures and stop it before it even happens. And that's when I saw a need on the parents and student side as well as the school's side. Like the school needs the app as well. So then I thought, why won't they implement it? It's free of cost. It's just helping them, and it's kind of helping them create a better environment in their school, which isn't possible otherwise because they don't know how to connect with kids. That's when I decided that if I approach them with incidents that I get, the random incidents that I get, and I tell them, okay, this is happening in your school. Do you want to do anything about it? That would certainly convince them to take action because they wouldn't just ignore the reports. So, yeah.
right? So like as for you, what are the mental repercussions of bullying on a person?
One of the most prominent ones will definitely be a lower self-esteem, because bullying can kind of distort your self-image and make you feel like you're not worth it as a person. It can also change you physically, maybe give you stomach aches, change your eating and sleeping habits entirely. And sometimes bullying is so intense that it leads to like major mental health illnesses such as depression and anxiety. And the most dramatic consequence would definitely be bullycide, which is suicide because of bullying. And that's,
Okay.
that's
Also,
So
I think that in India, bullying is very prominent. Like, I've seen schools, they don't even offer a counselor. And if there is a counselor, then no one contacts the counselor. I didn't even know that I had a counselor in school. And I've been in the school for 14 years. So it's very strange on the school's part because they are clearly not doing enough for bullying. And recently, I've heard a lot of like suicide cases. Like, we've been hearing them throughout. People do take very severe actions because of the bullying that has happened to them. So what is your take on that?
I believe that it is usually schools think that it's not a big deal. They trivialize bullying and they think that it's none of their business to interfere. but it is, like, let's face it, it's their school and it's happening in their school, in their environment. They are in charge of us, they're in charge of our mental health. And we've stayed silent long enough. We've seen people die, we've seen people go through face extreme consequences on it. And I don't think the youth, students, can stay silent any longer. I think we have to stand up. We have to make them see that what's happening is their fault and they must do something about it. That's my opinion.
Okay. So, like, we are very inquisitive to know about your Shark Tank India journey. How was it? What did you take from it? Everything.
So there were about 4 rounds. There were 2 online rounds and 1 in-person round in ITC Delhi before I was called to Mumbai for the final round. And there were like online forms where we had to fill in details about our company. So I applied for that. I submitted a pitch video, and there were, I think, 62,000 applicants across India, out of which 198 startups were selected and 67 were successful in raising funds. So Shark Tank India, I think, was a turning point for ABS, me, and Kavach, because I was amongst a ton of entrepreneurs shooting at Film City in Mumbai, and I spent a total of 3 days on set, which consisted of rehearsals and the final shooting. And I think this was one of the best professional experiences of my life, because it was a major opportunity for me to gain exposure and network as an entrepreneur. And especially at such a young age, like most people at 13, I don't think they've even been on a TV set before. And I filmed the whole show. So it's amazing the kind of exposure that I've gained basis this.
Personally, I am such a big Shark Tank fan right now, and everyone is so hyped up about this.
Okay, so Anushka, you've already pitched your venture before, your ideas and everything. Did you ever got invested in before Shark Tank?
Yes, I got invested in just when I started the company at the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. So that's when I won third place at the investor panel. And I was, I think, the youngest contestant over there.
Wow, like you're the youngest contestant everywhere.
Yeah.
So I guess Sharks Aman and Anupam invested in your venture. So how is that helping you right now? How are they helping you right now? Are you in touch with them personally or through executive or something? What is the whole scenario?
Basically, other than obviously helping me financially, they've also been mentoring me like one-on-one, and we're trying to scale Kavach and anti-bullying squad, and they're helping me with a lot of because Aman is very, very good at brand building and all of that. So he's helping me with that aspect, while Anupam is helping me with more of the getting into the right industry at the right time aspect. And I think with their mentorship, with their guidance, because they're such industry giants, it's really going to help me take anti-bullying squad and Kavach to the next level altogether.
Okay. So what will be the one tip that you would like to share with the young entrepreneurs who out there who lack confidence to present their idea, who think they're not good enough and their ideas are just some common things?
I would say that I related to that exact same feeling. And especially, I think, because I've always been kind of the youngest person everywhere, at YEA, at Shark Tank. And before, I always used to think that being the youngest is kind of a disadvantage, and being a young entrepreneur is kind of not gonna let me enter the industry at the right time. But actually, it's kind of an advantage if you think about it. And I think one of the main reasons that Aman and Anupam really believed in me, other than obviously the cause, was because of my age, was because of my drive at such a young age. If whatever you're doing, it's just gonna help you, honestly. And even if maybe your business idea isn't like a genius idea that's going to change the world, it's still going to help you as an entrepreneur to develop and gain exposure and experience. So keep going.
So you're currently in 8th grade?
Yes, 8th grade.
In 2 years, you'll be in, 10th and then 12th. So these are the board years. So the studies will be very, like, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So how will you manage everything? Are you having a plan right now, or it's just you'll see through it whenever it comes?
Um, I'm actually extremely nervous about that. I don't really know how I'll manage everything, but I think with this big, but I'm not alone. I mean, I do have my entire team, my mentors, so I think I'll be able to do it. Hopefully, I'll be able to not fail my boards.
Right, right. So like you just mentioned you have this team. So like can you just tell us about your team? Who are they? How do they help you? Everything.
So basically, my team consists of like I have a marketing team that helps me with PR and social media. I have a technical team, like an IT team, which help me with the app creation and the website and all of that. And then I have my like kind of core team with for the ideation, like that consists of my parents, me, my mentors that have helped me scale it on a large scale, Aman and Anupam even. So that's how, those are like the three teams that have helped me get till where I am now. I think will help me achieve greater heights in the future.
Yeah. So like is your team comprised of young people like you, or do you have some experienced people as well?
It's a very very large mix. Like I have young people, uh, mostly young people like on the social media and PR aspects, because I think that's the kind of content that they can create that other people can relate to. And then more like experienced kind of older people on the technical side, because they know how to make it work, I believe.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about your app a lot, how does it aim on tackling bullying? Like, what are the protocols and the procedures that your app has?
So my app is Kavach, and I basically created it based on the ideology that whatever is reported can be corrected. So basically, on Kavach, any parent or student can report bullying, and then these reported incidents can be viewed by their school, and they can take action on sorting them out. And basically, the USP of this app is that the parent and student can report it anonymously. Then schools can, they also have a separate admin panel through which, other than like these reported incidents, they can also see, like, based on the reported incidents, what are the patterns and trends of bullying in my school, and then they can take preventive measures according to that. For example, that most bullying is happening in some corridor which is poorly lit, so perhaps they can install cameras there, or they can install lights there, or do something or the other that would prevent more bullying from happening in their school. And I think through, it's kind of a mix of reporting and preventing bullying. And through this, they will be able to eradicate bullying entirely in their respective school.
Do you ever get messages from people like on like Insta DMs who say that they're afraid to report their issue, their bullying, because they're afraid that if they report this one incident, they'll get bullied more in the future?
Right, right. So not really, because the whole point is like, because of the anonymous reporting, nobody has to reveal their name. So nobody even knows who reported the incident to who, and who is getting, like, there is no revelation of that information. So nobody really feels shy to report any
Like,
incident.
what are your current statistics? Like, what are the numbers at present? How many people have you helped? How many people have like reported, and how many people, like, how many actions have been taken? All those things.
So for Kavach, right now, since I've just launched it, we've had no particular incidents reported. But when it comes to anti-bullying squad in total, I've impacted like several thousand kids over the course of 3 years. And this is primarily through either counseling them, one-on-one talking to them, reaching out to our psychologists, or uh, educating them about bullying in usually large groups like in schools or NGOs or things like that.
Like your app is still like in the development phase. Has it been launched?
Yes, it's available on Play Store right now. I
Like
think a few days back.
like when will it be available on App Store?
Um, I'll actually have to see because with apps, it's also about like iOS updates and all of that. So
Hmm.
probably in my next round of funding, I'll be able to put it on App Store.
So since you're working with the schools, what do the schools do? Like they put the app and they run it themselves, or like what is the mechanism for the schools if they want to take up your app?
So the schools, they promote the app to parents and students, and they make sure all the parents and all the students have the app downloaded on their mobile phone. And then the school is given access through the app of their own school's admin panel. And they've also generated a little access key pertaining to their school, which they can share with all the students and parents so that everybody is on the same page. And then parents and students report the incidents. Schools can view these incidents, take action, and then they can also view reports based on these incidents about like the trends and patterns of bullying in their school.
Okay, so like before we conclude this conversation, we would like to thank you for taking out time to talk with us. Team Girl of Tisha would like to congratulate you for your achievements, and we are confident that your mission will help better the lives of many victims. Because I personally am a fan of anti-bullying squad. I went through your page and everything. It was very insightful because for a 13-year-old, you're doing too much. I wasn't this confident when I was 30. Honestly, I lacked confidence at that time. So we are confident that your mission will help better lives of victims, and it will eventually exterminate all this bullying and ragging sort of thing.
Yeah.
You are on the right path, and I hope we wish you all the best for your entrepreneurial journey. And I hope your app gets a very nice funding and comes on App Store as well, so that all the people can avail it who want to.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me.
We had a
Thank
great
you.
time talking to you, and I think you are such a confident 13-year-old. Like she said, we were not like you. I'm 14 only, but still, you get it. And I wish you all the best for your journey, and I'll keep following you and seeing your journey, and it makes me really happy. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.